Hi, viewers. James Floyd Kelly here. Welcome to another episode of Novel Ideas. Here with my friend Eric Wex. How you doing, Eric?
I'm doing well. How's it going?
I'm good. It's been a few weeks since we've chatted, hasn't it?
Yeah, summer is, two stay-at-home dads, and summer, that's not a recipe for getting a lot of work done, that's for sure.
No, it's really not, and it's frustrating at times, isn't it?
I had like the quintessential parenting moment. When was it? It was Sunday. So I'm out eating lunch at my folks, and we have to rush back in to get my wife to work, right? And I just got that moment of like anxiety of I'm gonna have 3 kids and be the only parent. And my mom looked at me and she just started smiling. She's just like, "You're having that thing that the stay-at-home moms have, where you get really scared when you're alone with the kids." And I'm like, "Yeah, I am. I'm
Well,
tired of alone with the kids."
I tell you what, for the past 5 weeks, I've been teaching a series of technology camps. They go 5 days.
Yeah.
Each camp has 16 kids.
Wow.
Some of the camps has been a morning session and an afternoon session. Like this week, I'm doing a Minecraft camp. We're not doing Minecraft game playing, although we do play. We're learning CAD and importing our designs into Minecraft. But anyway, I've got a morning session with 16, an afternoon session with 16. So for the past 5 weeks, I have been dealing with 3rd graders through 7th graders. I've gotten no writing done. Not much writing done. I haven't been able to chat with you. We're sort of behind on our novel ideas, and it's just I've had a moment here or there over the past few weeks where I feel like my life is not it's out of my control.
Yes, I absolutely can relate to that. I have 3 or 4 more people. My one daughter's working at a summer camp all summer, so she's 15 and it's time to do that. And she's actually driving now too, so there's another whole nother story. But she's gone, but I have 3 other people in the house. My quiet mornings where I get work done, yeah, not happening. Just not happening.
Look, I mean, I'm in my basement. It's soundproof down here. It's really nice and quiet. My family's upstairs. The boys are out of school, so they're staying up a little later, and it's a madhouse in the Kelly house.
Yep.
And, so I told them on pain of death, that door better not open. There better be nobody coming down here during the half hour or so. But anyway, but listen, I've missed having some chats with you. We've gotten some. It's interesting. We've had a few. You and I both have had some people, reach out to us through Twitter or email or what have you, and say, "Hey, is Novel Ideas over?" Or "Hey, we miss you guys," or "Where are you?" And we're still here. Summers are just a little insane for two stay-at-home dads, work from home dads.
Yeah, well, and I made it more insane for me this summer in that I have 3 deadlines. I had 3 deadlines in June. One of them got extended to July 11th, which is the way I'm only going to make it. And then I have a writing deadline due the 31st. So it's as much as I'm complaining about not having easy work time, this is where the advantage of being a writer also kicks in. For instance, my oldest daughter got sick at camp, so she was home for a couple of days. We took her to the doctor this morning, found out her asthma had flared up, lots of mold out there. And so we're getting that taken care of. And I was writing in the waiting room. I can go to the doctor and I can write in the waiting room and make at least a bit of official time out of it. So the advantage of being a writer and doing this is that snippets of time can count, right? I can be, when we get done here, if I have the brain power, yes, after the girls go to bed, before my wife gets home from work, I will be writing. That will happen.
Well, it's funny. It's funny you were talking about your doctor. Last week, my wife's car, it had one of those lights come on, and my wife loves her car, but whenever there's maintenance needed, I gotta go deal with it. So I took her car at 7 a.m. in the morning. It's a Honda. The Honda maintenance opens at 7 a.m. I was like, I'm gonna be there. So I left at 6:45, got there at 7, right when they were rolling up the doors, pulled it in, told them what was on. For 2 hours. It was so awesome. I didn't have a camp last week. It was my off week. So for 2 hours, I got to sit in their waiting room and I got this new writing gig I should go ahead and tell you about, which I think I did.
Yes, you
I
should.
got hired. What was that?
Yes, you should tell us about it.
Yeah, no, this is actually some fiction. It's not fiction in the sense of writing a novel. I got a freelance writing gig from a game developer. You know, Eric and I, we play role-playing games like Dungeons and Dragons and Pathfinder and those kind of things because we're geek dads. I'm wearing my Atari shirt. I'm wearing my Space Invaders shirt. You're wearing your Atari shirt. We're geek dads. And but anyway, they hired me to create some content for an adventure book that they're putting out for one of their games. And I can't talk about it yet. I can't tell who it's about, or who it's for, and all that. But it'll come out eventually. So I wrote some pieces. They loved it. They came back and said, "Here, write some more." And so they gave me more. So for 2 hours last week, I got to sit in this small waiting room, you know, with like 5 or 6 other people, waiting on my wife's to get the oil change, and I was writing a game, our role-playing game adventure snippet, these modules or whatever.
So you're writing a
and
module.
I loved every. What was that?
You're writing a module.
They're mini modules,
So like
mini
an encounter-size module.
Yes, and they were so fun because they're creative in nature. You know, I was having to make stuff up. And it's fiction, which is, I'm not a fiction writer. I'm a nonfiction technology writer. So it was a totally different thing for me. My creative bar was at max. I mean, I was pegged out, just going nuts on the keyboard, and I loved every minute of it. And it just made me realize that I've got to expand my horizons. I really want to use this as a jumping-off point to reach out to some other game designers and say, "Hey, listen, I'll write for you." So we'll see. We'll see how that turns out.
One of the deadlines in June, and I don't know if we talked about this on the broadcast before, we've talked about it off air. One of the deadlines I had in June was to put Gravlander, the serial that I did last fall, into a comic book pitch for Oni Comics here in Portland. So I sent that off here at the end of June. I should know in 60 days whether or not they're going to take it. But it's the exact same thing, right? I got to write sample comic book script. And I found that was fantastic. It was so much fun to paint a visual picture, and then you just write the dialogue, chunk, right under that, and then you go on to the next picture on the page, and you explain what happens in that picture.
Yep.
It was a blast because it was just a very different way to think, and I found it to be a refreshing way to write. So there's our takeaway, or one of our takeaways for the day is, you know, if you're a writer, try something different. Just as a break, just as a creative outlet that allows that fun and play to come back into the writing, you know, because I think that's something we lose when we're trying to do this as a career.
Right.
You can miss the fun. The fun can go away because you're so caught up in doing the right thing to get the right product out at the right time. So,
well, you know, you hit it dead on, because here's the thing. Whatever kind of writing you're doing, I've learned this in the past few months, and I'll tell you how I learned it. Whatever type of writing you're doing, you may think that there's only one or two avenues. Like if you're a fiction writer, you think, "Oh, I write fiction books or I write fiction short stories." But there are always options, and here's what happened to me. About 3 or 4 months ago, I live just outside Atlanta. You ever get these little, you know, neighborhood magazines, you know, like Our Neighborhood or something like that, and
yeah,
they're usually filled with advertisements, but they also have articles. I had one reach out to me here, and she just said, "Hey, you know, we'd love you to write a monthly little tech article called Tech Dad. Would you be interested?" And here's the clincher. She said it doesn't pay anything, which I was like, because as a writer, you always want to try to get money for your writing.
right.
But she said it gives you a 1-paragraph byline. So I'm able to put in links to my books and things like that. And even though it's only 750 words a month, and it takes my mind off of other things. So what I would tell you viewers is this: always be on the lookout for other writing opportunities. This doesn't pay me anything, but it does get my name out there. I have had a few people ask me to come and talk about a book I wrote to their school or their I've had the Rotary Club reach out to me about this. So there's opportunities there. Don't ever close the door on a chance to write. an organization, a publisher, whatever you can get your hands on.
Absolutely. I'm in total agreement with that. I mean, that in some sense explains my summer. So the Oni pitch is now out there. That means Gravlander is going to be on hold for a little bit. The other things I'm doing this summer are 3 short stories, that is going to keep me occupied to the end of July. So June and July, actually May, June, and July, part of May, have been dedicated to writing, 3 short stories in the Oni pitch. All those stories are going to be in anthologies, and the whole point of those anthologies, some of them have sold really, really well in some similar anthologies. And so, I'm going to get a chance to have 2 books out there that are likely to sell well when my fiction gets exposed. So, and I wrote a time travel story that we haven't talked about yet. We'll talk about that in August when the book comes out. But it's fantastic. So I'm really excited about this.
I love anthologies. I read a lot of anthologies. I love them. Because they're fast. You can read a short story in a very short amount of time, and you put your bookmark in and pick it up. I love anthologies, so I'm really happy for you that you're getting an opportunity to create some short stories.
One of the things I think that's fun about an anthology versus a collection of short stories by the same author is authors do have themes, right? And you're going to see some repeated stuff in a short story collection. That I like anthologies, just a quick hit from a whole bunch of different authors, and you keep moving. So I love anthologies for that reason.
Right. And listen, I hope I don't jinx you, but I love Gravlander. You know that. I was there as you were writing it. I was sharing it with the GeekDad.com writers. I would love to see Gravlander turn into a comic book. That would be so cool to see a story that I watched you develop, and all of a sudden, bam, it's in comic book form. I'm keeping my fingers crossed for you.
Yeah, it's a huge part of my pitch too. Was one, it's already been published. There's already an audience out there that would grab onto this. You have the Geek Dad platform for publicity. That was part of my pitch. But the other piece that was part of my pitch was to say. It's also episodic, right? Like it's already set up for a short form comic book that comes out monthly or weekly or whatever it is that you want to do. It's just ready to go. And then by the end, so here's the good news. I did expand it to 20 episodes. So it's going to double in length. We're going to get to see what happens to Jo after she joins the Clarion. And really fill out that second half of the story, which is where we both felt like there was room to expand. And who knows? So who knows what's going to happen with that?
We know, viewers. Before we came on, Eric and I were talking about, what do we want to talk about, this episode, and quite honestly, we usually try to have a topic that would be relevant to viewers, but we just sort of talked about the fact that we need to talk, we need to chat. And there's been a lot going on in our lives and stuff like that. But we wanted you to be aware that when school starts, because we have kids, when school starts, we're going to go back to a more regular schedule of producing the novel ideas. But we wanted you to be aware that we are still alive and kicking, and we have not given up on novel ideas. We have just we're dads and we're writers, and sometimes those 2 jobs do not mix well.
For those of you who are watching the video feed, I'm looking down right now because I wanted to look up something, because there was this idea of working on things that you like and that you love. We've talked before about Andre Wallin, the great concept artist who I bought light rights from for cover art. I did that for the Gravlander serial. He just put out, and go out and find this, because he's been a cover artist. He's been a concept artist for forever. He's been around movies. He does storyboards for films. He was involved with Godzilla, Oblivion. He does storyboards for video games. So, a lot of the things that you see in geek culture come from Andre Wallin, frankly. And he just put out his own short film. It's a 16-minute film that you can find on Vimeo that's called State Zero. But this is this idea of expanding what you do. Here's a concept artist who went out and made a small short film to say, yeah, I have some director's chops too, guys. I can make beautiful things. So we'll see if he's able to chase that into actual money. I know IO9 featured it. I need to write it up for Geek Dad if we haven't written it up yet. But Zero State is fantastic. Little 16-minute short film that you should look up and go watch. It's with Andre Wallin and his conceptual art. And my favorite part about it is it's lovely. right? I mean, he knows how to make science fiction beautiful, and it's just gorgeous. So
Yeah.
there's my pitch.
Well, one thing, Eric, that we really it's sort of like the when we started doing novel ideas, one of the things is you were fiction, I was nonfiction. Now I'm starting to do some fiction.
Yep.
You've done some nonfiction. It's sort of like we're blending it up there.
Still my bestseller.
Yeah, what I'd like to know, because we're getting low on time here, is what I'd like to know is you mentioned that you've got a deadline for another short story, but what's coming down the road when school starts in? What do you see happening for you in the next 3 to 4 months?
So once I get through the stuff in July, I will take the month of August and I will go back to Gossamer, the novel that I was working on with my 15, soon to be 16-year-old. That was one of these projects that I really love, and I love so much that I put it on the shelf because it needs some rewrites, and I needed to get distance from it to come back and rewrite it to get what has become a really personal project for me, and to get some of that personality and some of the things that I think really need to be involved there done. So hopefully in August, unless I get other deadlines that get in the way, that's where I'm going to head. And then we'll know at the end of August whether Gravelender is going to come out. I will probably finish Gossamer first. If Gravelender doesn't get picked up by a comic book company by the time I'm done with Gossamer, I will turn it into a novel, and we'll go that direction with it. So that'll be the next thing in the Pax Imperium universe, and then after that, Athena's Revenge, Book 2, is on the horizon. So we'll see what happens.
Excellent. I like to hear that. Well, listen, viewers, we want you to know, thank you for hanging in with us. The summer months have been a little crazy. Eric and I are 3 hours apart. He's on the West Coast, I'm on the East Coast. During the days, it's very hard for us to get together, so we do it in the evenings. And sometimes in the evenings, when it's 10 o'clock my time, 7 o'clock yours, sometimes we're just not able to match up. It just doesn't work out. But we are going to make an effort to be better at this. We appreciate you contacting us and letting us know that, hey, you want to hear more, you want to see more, and we'll keep it up.
Yep.
School for Eric, I don't know about you, but here school for us starts in about a month, and we've got about 4 more weeks. We'll probably do one or two more of these before then.
Yep.
But once school starts back, we'll definitely get back on a more regular schedule.
Absolutely.
And,
school starts in September, so I've got still another month after you. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So we'll get going, and but just thank you viewers for hanging in there with us, and Eric and I will start brainstorming some new ideas, new things to talk about, and of course we welcome your comments and your questions and suggestions. So we'd love to hear from you. So Eric, it's good seeing you again. You look clean shaven. I like the new look.
It's the first time in 20 years that this thing's, well, technically the second. It was gone once, but I started growing it back like the next day because I didn't like it. This time it kind of happened by accident when the person who cuts my hair made a mistake, and I like it. So,
well,
everybody, I'm on the wrong side of 40. Looking younger is good at this point. So
you know what? I'm mid-40s and my hair is going gray, so I don't grow a beard because it would just be all gray and gnarly. So, but I'll leave. But you look much younger because your hair stays the same color on top. So you got rid of the beard, and
it's there. You can't see it in this light, but it's there more by the day.
So there you go, viewers. Geek dads are vain, or not. I don't know. Yeah. Well, listen, my friend, it was very good to talk to you, and I apologize. Last week was totally my fault. I'm going to tell you right now, I fell asleep. I had such a weird. I took my boys out. Last week I was off. I had no camp, so I took my boys and we did some crazy stuff and ran hard and played hard. And I just fell. My wife was out of town last week, and it was just me and 2 boys, and I fell asleep. I'll be honest.
That's fine.
I just no. And the next morning I felt no guilt. I was like, you know what? I was tired.
That's okay. Well, I won't tell you that we both forgot about it last week and that I was busy too. So, we'll get it.
All right. Well, listen, viewers, thanks again for tuning in with us. We'll get you another episode very soon, hopefully next week. Yeah. And of course, if you have questions or comments, we'd love to hear from you at geekdad.com, ericwex.com, or on the iTunes page. So, Eric, we'll talk again soon. Okay.
All right. Take care. Have fun.
Bye.
Bye.